I'll do it. I'll do it. Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton? Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item will be the moment of silence. As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in any other silent activity. Thank you. Next item will be the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Kennedy Kregler, a fifth grader of Linwood Elementary.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Kennedy. Is that on?
Testing.
There we go.
Was that fun? Tell us who your teacher is and what your favorite subject is in school.
My teacher is Mrs. Stollard, and my favorite subject is math.
Math, good. What are you most excited about middle school next year?
Probably band,
Band, all right. What instrument are you going to play?
probably trumpet.
Oh, that's awesome. I played trumpet at Sequoia Middle School. Do you know which middle school you're going to?
Oh yeah, Childers.
Yeah. You're going to love it. It's a great place. Do you have family members here tonight with you?
Yes.
Can you introduce them for us?
I have my dad's here, my mom's here, my little sister, and my nana.
Can I get a picture with you?
Hey, Kennedy, if they're mean to you at Linwood, you let Mr. Cockrell know, because he went to school there, and he'll come over and have a meeting with them, okay? Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, we were the road runners. That's right. We were the road runners. All the way over there.
All the way.
Great job, Kennedy.
So cute.
And great job, Linwood. Mr. Cocker and I are very, very proud of you all. Next item will be the approval of the board meeting minutes for October the 9th. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
A second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette? Abstain. Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you. Next item, Mr. Bowser.
Sorry about that. Good evening, Mr. Allen, Mr. Perry, members of the board. So this evening, it's a little fun for me to be able to recognize one of our own. Recently, the OKSTE, the Oklahoma Society for Technology and Education, had a conference here locally and gave an award to one of our own team members, Mr. Brandon Chitty. Now, let me read you a little bit about what the purpose of the award is. According to the OKSTE, the Technology Leader of the Year award is designed to honor a district technology leader or administrator who exhibits exemplary leadership in the effective use and integration of technology in the teaching and learning process and technology operations throughout the leader's district. That is Brandon Chitty. To put it simply, Brandon is passionate and is always looking for ways to push the envelope to make our district better. There's no doubt that his visionary approach and unwavering dedication and capacity to turn ideas into reality make him the ideal candidate to receive this award. So tonight, I ask you to join me in recognizing Mr. Brandon Chitty's accomplishment of being named OKSTE Technology Leader of the Year.
Mr. Bowser is far too kind. I'm pretty sure Mr. Bowser was the one that nominated me for said award, which I share the same sentiments. When you talk about belief, I've been in the district since 2007, and I am who I am because of others' belief in me. And I have ideas. They're not all great. And luckily, several have landed pretty good, so that's pretty good. But what it all comes down to when I really thought about this and where I am now and the whole journey that got me here is really belief. When I didn't know what I wanted to be and I was mowing lawns, I was doing it with a teacher, right? And, hey, I believe you could be a teacher. And all right, so let's try this out. And did that and had people believe in me through that process, saw things I didn't see, gave me comments that I didn't know about myself. And
Our district teacher of the year.
Yeah. Well, that was belief too, right? Like others believing in me, right? And so I appreciate that, Chuck. That was a long time ago. So yes, and so that goes back to that. That's peers believing in me, and me not even feeling like that's me, but then growing in that, and then being in these positions. Everybody that's in here, I can look at every single one of them and show you a story about their belief in me, building me up, and not people trying to keep each other down or break things apart. And that's what it's about. And really, this comes, I think, foundationally, this award from the belief that Mr. Bowser has in what I'm doing and our connections and just really the work that I put in here and what I believe that this place has the ability to be and what we are, and supported by the amazing leadership to allow us to be progressive in education. Because I'll just tell you, at the conference specifically, we are just known in Broken Arrow that we do things, we're ahead. We're ahead of most people, and that doesn't come by an individual. That's a community and stakeholders. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chitty, we appreciate you because, coming out of COVID, the board's expectation of where we want to be technology with our online class offerings, and we appreciate you accepting that challenge and putting us on the map, because I believe all of us sat here and talked about we want to be the beacon. We want people to come to Broken Arrow, see what we're doing, instead of us searching out what everybody else is doing. And we appreciate you accepting that challenge and continuing to make us better in that avenue. So thank you very much.
Every pathway possible, man. We'll work on it. So thank you for that belief, and we'll continue. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Next item, we comments from the public, and we do have one speaker this evening, Abby Donahoe. She'll be
share with me. I'm hard pressed to find people that feel like it's a good idea to expand the buildings. And so some of my specific questions are, what can we do to stop the 8th grade center? The second one would be, what are the current plans, which I think Ms. Diaz is going to get me. we're at, because I keep hearing, I don't work for the district, but I work in Sequoia. So we're always wondering what's going on, and we're hearing like ground's gonna get broken and stuff, but we don't see anything. We definitely don't hear anything, and I would think we would know, but maybe not. I also was told that deadlines for the money, because I know there's real constraints on the bond issue money, but I've heard that deadlines have been relaxed a little because of inflation and COVID and all of that. So I'm curious about those things too. If the deadlines are relaxed, are we able to adjust the plans? I mean, that's really my goal. Mr. Perry knows that. So I know you guys can't comment on that, but those are the questions I have, the answers I'm looking for. What can we do to stop this? I guess I don't have to use the whole time, right? Thank God.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Next item will be the consent items 8 through 39. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, number 40, Mr. Stecker.
Good evening, everyone. I bring back tonight the second reading and ask for your approval for multiple board policies. These have been reviewed by legal.
Questions or discussion?
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, Ms. Thompson.
Yes, tonight for your consideration, I bring to you our flyer policy with some updates to it. You'll see a little bit of red on the policy with some of that's moving around to give it a little bit better flow for people who might not be familiar with the policy. But some of the things I want to call your attention to, one, on that third bullet point, we are adding commercial to that. So flyers of predominantly of a religious, political, or commercial nature will not be distributed. Mostly that's to keep advertising out of our schools. But then with that fourth bullet point, we wanted to make sure that we clarify that we will allow that in conjunction with school sales of things. So if it's like yearbook or those kinds of things, obviously we don't want to keep those from going out. A little bit further down, we have had some miscommunications about our what we allow in our teachers' lounges, and we really like to protect those spaces and keep those safe for our teachers so that it doesn't just feel like a constant sales push. So we did go ahead and clarify in the policy that for staff, we also don't provide written flyers for them. Again, we've got Peach Jar for that, and so that's an allowance that we make, but really trying to protect those teaching lounge areas. And then lastly, with political season coming up, we wanted to go ahead. I saw this section, the ground and yard signs, in some of our surrounding school district policies and thought that would probably be a great ad for ours just ahead of the election. We have had a couple of little issues here and there that we've had to work through, but no major problems. But I think it's just best to go ahead and add that to our policy so there are no questions. And that is pretty well the summary of the changes that you'll see in the policy.
Questions or discussion?
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Please call the roll, please.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, Mr. Blackburn.
All right, good evening. What I'm proposing tonight in regards to policy 4280 is a slight addition to that current policy, which follows state law, and House Bill 1634, which basically adds information or language in regards to transporting of misdemeanor drugs, which would be marijuana falls under that category. And since it's a misdemeanor now, local law enforcement are not always taking those technically prescriptions and or medication from the sites, and this would legally allow them to transport that item to BAPD to be destroyed properly. You also have a sample letter of what our officers would carry and or designated individuals, and it would be required to be in a secure container in the vehicle as they transport it to the destruction site.
Questions or discussion? Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
A second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, thank you. Next item, our new business, we have none. The next item is 44, student suspension due process appeal hearing for student A. The reason for this meeting is to conduct a due process hearing on the out-of-school suspension of student A. The order of the hearing will follow the agenda of this meeting. The agenda provides that both the administration and the student are given the opportunity to make the opening statement. The administration will then call its witness, with the student having the opportunity to cross-examination. The student will then call her witness, which are subject to cross-examination. Both sides will be allowed to call rebuttal witnesses, and then both sides will have the time to make the closing arguments to the board. If the student, her parent, legal guardian, or attorney wish, the entire hearing may be conducted in executive session. If the hearing has not been conducted in executive session, then after all of the evidence has been presented and only at the request of student A, her parents or legal guardians, the board may convene an executive session to discuss and deliberate on the documents and other evidence presented and will return to open session. Otherwise, the board will discuss and deliberate on the documents and other evidence presented in open session. Then in open session, the board will vote to adopt findings of fact, that is, what facts the board finds have been sworn or shown from the evidence, and it will vote to determine guilt or innocence of the student, determine the reasonableness of the suspension, and whether to affirm, modify, overturn the suspension of the student. The hearing is to be an informal administrative hearing that will not be governed by the strict rules of evidence such as would be used in a court proceeding. Thus, the board may hear hearsay evidence that it finds to have some merit in establishing fact. The president of the board will make any rulings needed regarding evidence. During the process, the student is entitled to be represented by legal counsel. Only witnesses and parties and their representatives will be addressing the board, and thus no statements from anyone in the audience will be heard. Witnesses will be sworn to tell the truth at the beginning of their testimony, which oath, we're not getting into that, will be administered by the minutes clerk or the board president. The administration is present through Derek Blackburn, Executive Director of Student Services, and the district is not represented by legal counsel. Student A and her parent and legal guardian are not present, nor does an attorney appear for them. While student A and her parent and legal guardian are not present, has the parent or guardian expressed whether or not he wants to hear an executive session?
Yes, per email on October 8th.
Okay, thank you. Do the board members or parties of the representatives have any questions or concerns of the hearing? Concern hearing. So at this time, we'll move to executive session to proceed with the hearing. We need a vote. Yep.
Make a motion, go to executive session.
I second.
Motion is second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Are we?
We're going to go. what's this? There. Okay, just checking. All right, next item will be the comment from our board. What is your seat?
Clerk.
Clerk, sorry.
The Board of Education and Bo Rainey, Gentry Gwen, Derek Blackburn, and Lindsay Green. Bo Rainey appeared as the counsel for the board, entered into executive session at 6:21 p.m. for the purpose of hearing the evidence and to discuss the suspension of a minor student whereby disclosure of any additional information would violate FERPA in accordance with Oklahoma Statute 25, Section 307B5 and B7, 2011 of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act. The Board of Education returned to open session at 7:18 p.m. This constitutes the minutes of the executive session.
All right. Next item, number 45.
I make a motion to vote to adopt the findings of fact on the suspension of student A and request that our attorney, Bo Rainey, read those facts.
Number one, student A is a junior at Broken Arrow High School for the 23-24 school year. Number two, on September 8th, 2023, student A arrived on campus tardy to her second hour, and she refused to follow safety protocols by checking in to the tardy station after multiple directives from staff, administration, and campus security. Additionally, student A did not have a school ID properly displayed upon arrival, but eventually complied with that safety protocol. Number three, student A was given multiple opportunities to follow the safety protocols, to come to the office and discuss the situation with administration, and she refused, stating that she was not going to do any of that and just go to class without checking in. Student A eventually checked into the tardy station using a false identity, upon which she was assigned to in-school placement, ISP, by the school administrator. Number four, student A refused to go to ISP and began walking towards the exit and was told to not leave the building and to either come to the office or go to ISP. Student A refused to go to ISP and the office and was told if she left the building, she was suspended. Student A chose to exit the building, in which she was clearly told that she was now suspended. She walked across campus to her second hour class and checked in with the fraudulent hall pass. Campus security and the classroom teacher attempted to get student A to leave the classroom and return to the office. Upon multiple refusals, student A was told by campus security that she was suspended and would be cited for trespassing if she did not return to the office or leave campus, and that her guardian was on his way to pick her up. Student A refused to leave the classroom and stated she would not leave the classroom without making a scene and make jokes to the class and teacher to record her getting arrested. Broken Arrow Police, BAPD, were called to cite student A with a trespassing warning for being on campus as a suspended student. Upon arrival of BAPD, administration had to clear the classroom of other students and teacher to a nearby classroom due to the increased disruption of the learning environment caused by student A. 5. As students were exiting, student A was commenting to students that they should thank her because she was ending class early. BAPD then entered the classroom to investigate the situation, and student A continued to interfere with their investigation and made inappropriate comments about if any of the cops were hot and single, and asking to take her picture in handcuffs so she could post on her social media. Student A continued to not follow directives, refused to leave campus, and was then placed in handcuffs and escorted out of the building by BAPD. Upon reunification with her guardian at the front of the school building, BAPD attempted multiple times to release her to her guardian, and student A continued to not comply with directives from her guardian, campus security, school administration, and BAPD, and continually stated that she would not leave campus. Student A eventually left campus with BAPD. 6, student A was suspended out of school beginning Friday, September 8th, 2023 for the remainder of the 2023-24 school year, ending on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. 7, on September 18, 2023, suspension appeal hearing was conducted. The appeal hearing committee reached a unanimous decision to uphold the discipline taken by the administration of Broken Arrow High School, including the length of the suspension. 8, student A's guardian requested this appeal hearing be conducted in executive session in an email dated October 8th, 2023. 9, by email dated November 5, 2023, the grandparent notified the district he will not have an attorney and will not be attending the appeal hearing. 10, neither student A, her guardian, nor legal counsel on her behalf attended this hearing. 11, the administration's exhibits were offered and admitted without objection.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, 46, be a motion and vote to affirm suspension, modify suspension, increase or decrease severity of suspension, or overturn suspension of student A.
Based on the findings of fact adopted by the Board of Education, I make the motion that the following finding be made. Student A's conduct on September 8th, 2023 violating the following provisions of Code of Student Conduct. 4320-6, conduct that threatens or jeopardizes the safety of others. 4320-7, disruption in the educational process. 4320-45, willful disobedience of a directive of any school official. The length of the out-of-school suspension of a student A for the remainder of the 23-24 school year was reasonable and appropriate.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item will be to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rainey.